Known as Las Vegas Cool Hand upon its stateside Game Boy Color release, this was also a very late-life European-exclusive DMG cartridge simply called Cool Hand. Very little to really say about it. What we have here is a collection of them good old card games. Bear in mind at this point that I've written reviews for the entirety of the original Game Boy library, and so have played all of these games in several different forms before now. You can play a simple game of blackjack, starting off with a humble $50 and only being able to bet up to $10 at a time, building up to the thousands. There are also several variants of solitaire. The Klondike variant we're all familiar with, one called 11s where you need to place every card into a group totaling 11, one called Monte Carlo where you remove pairs from a 5x4 grid that are touching cards of equal value, and finally Calculation where you build up piles based on addition. A 2 card needs to be followed by a 4, 6, 8, a 3 card by 6, 9, Queen, a 4 card by 8, Queen, 3, and so on. Some fun variations here. Finally, you can play cribbage against a CPU opponent. If you're one of the tiny demographic of people who still know how to play cribbage, have a blast. Everything is drawn just fine, with some decent little animated characters, and the music is some inoffensive 12-bar blues songs that fill a void. Little that's humorous or insightful to really add to Las Vegas Cool Hand. Some of you might say that's par for the course with my reviews anyway. You might be correct, but you still shouldn't say it. Double for your money this week in the Game Boy Color series, well, these reviews don't cost you anything, as we have two similar styles of games that don't have a great deal to chat about. Shanghai has already been covered way back when on the channel, as the Mahjong Solitaire variant nicely bookended the original DMG library, from the most basic of origins with one of the first games on the system in 1989, Shanghai, right through to one of the last in 1998. This was a Japanese-exclusive DMG game released in August of 1998, but this colorized version found its way around the world a matter of months later. The first cool thing you'll spot is that there are 12 different board layouts to choose, each named after the animal it's in a rough shape of, whether a lion, a monkey, a snake, and so on. The idea is to clear each board of tiles and, in so doing, retrieve the animal's orb. You do this by removing matching pairs once one of their vertical sides becomes fully visible and there isn't anything on top. The number of tiles remains the same. Most tile designs will have 2 pairs, whereas some will only have 1. It's a good idea to think about which tiles to take rather than to just pick up the most visible. If, say, a pair of 4s could be removed but they're not blocking anything, it might be prudent to just leave them so that you may be able to get rid of a different 4 that might become available. If you've already taken one pair of 4s, then there's no reason to leave them there, just get rid. Of course, that's depending on your ability to remember what you've picked up already. You need to beat all 12 levels, obtain all 12 orbs, and then you'll see a short cutscene where the animals can unlock their tower and go back home. As well as this Shanghai mode, you can play a battle game against the CPU whereby the quicker you solve puzzles, the more tiles get thrown onto their screen. If you've looked at the options menu, you might have noticed a difficulty option. This is the strength of the CPU in this mode, rather than anything to do with the main game. You can, however, choose what tile sets you might like, traditional or one better suited to a Western audience, and also the timer. This adds an element of quick thinking which you'll either like or hate. You can choose whether you get 5 minutes, 7, 12, or unlimited time to solve a board. This is a much more suitable product than the first Shanghai, which only had one layout and no element of progression at all. The extra game modes thrown in make Shanghai Pocket a real treat for solitaire fans.